You know, I never would have thought I'd see a Hitler quote trying to describe another Melee player within the Smash community, but hey, looks like it happened today. So, hey guys, before I do start the general gaming news, I did want to talk about this whole Hax versus Leffen thing. Now, I'm not very well acquainted with the Smash community, but I know that Hax does not seem to like Leffen. This is a well known fact, and now that there's a video that basically came out from Hax, essentially saying Leffen is an awful person, I kind of did want to talk about it, but at the same time, I'm not sure how I describe it besides that man probably needs psychiatric help. Well, that's really just about it, but so how about we jump into some more, or at least different news than this? So, to first begin, let's talk about the E3 schedule that was released. So, first to begin on Saturday, June the 12th, at around 10 a.m. Pacific Time or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, E3 will kick off with a press conference from Ubisoft and Gearbox Entertainment, as well as a session from GamesBeat, coming in on Sunday at around 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Xbox and Bethesda game showcase will happen and take place at around 1 p.m. And then there will be supposedly a special presentation from Square Enix, the PC Gaming Show, and the Future Game Show. And then Warner Brothers games and Back 4 Blood and 24 Entertainment will also be featured in this day. And so far it looks pretty interesting, looks pretty cool. I wonder what all these people are going to be announcing, but we'll see. And then next off, on the 14th, pre-show starts at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to be a press conference from multiple indie developers, especially and presentations from Take-Two Interactive, Mythical Games, Freedom Games, Razer, and Capcom. And then Verizon and Intellivision will also be featured along with a session from then. And then finally, on Tuesday, June 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there will be a pre-show. And then it'll include Nintendo's Nintendo Direct and Nintendo Treehouse. And it'll begin at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then it'll be followed up by Bandai Namco, Eureka Games, and GameSpot, which will be focused at these events. And then it'll round out with the official E3 2021 awards show. Now, what do I think about this? Well, I mean, nothing much, because unless big games are going to get announced, such as like Elden Ring, Starfield, and, games of that caliber, maybe a new Borderlands from Gearbox, I'm not sure how to feel about it. Because honestly, it could just be, more information about games we kind of already know, which it's always good, but, unless it's going to be a big announcement, I'm not sure how to feel about the E3. So, if something big comes along, obviously you'll hear it from me. And I think, especially, for example, the whole Microsoft Xbox Bethesda games showcase, I think that has the potential to be really big, especially since now that Microsoft and Bethesda are together, this has the potential of, of Microsoft saying, we got these first-party games on our system, and a few other games that are coming to, the Xbox's ecosystem. So, really, at this point, we just have to see what games are announced, and, we shall see. Oh, and speaking of which, I'll be streaming at least most of these events and the Summer Games Fest on the 10th. Oh, and just to follow up on some more E3 titles that are going to not be there. Saints Row, Time Splitters, Dead Island 2, and the Metro series won't be at E3, according to Koch Media. So, that kind of reduces the pool, but it's not like those are the only games that we were expecting a new title or, some news to come out of. So, just so you all know. And to bounce off the E3 news, basically the Summer Game Fest is going to kick off on the 10th, and I'll also be doing a live stream of this. Supposedly at least 30 plus games are going to be announced with special guests and performances by Weezer and the Japanese Breakfast, so big hype. Though I'm not sure if this is going to replace certain games from appearing at E3, so if something is announced at the Summer Games Fest, it won't appear at E3. That might be the case, not sure. Though I do hope that big announcements come, because I like video games. I like a lot of video games. And so, I'll be probably streaming a lot this week, particularly Thursday to next Tuesday. So, hey, follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, and you'll get notifications when that happens. I'll probably also drop a video on YouTube telling y'all when I'm online. So, come stop by my stream if you are available. Now, I'm going to talk about some of the most popular games on Steam. As you can see here, these are the top sellers for the week by revenue, and I'm not entirely too surprised. Though, I've never heard of Going Medieval. Supposedly it got released recently, and so basically it got really popular, and it's selling pretty well. So, hey, it sounds like it's an indie developer making this, so that's good. We like indie developers, and so, yeah. Looks very interesting. So, let's get on to some individual gaming news. So, Xbox Series X and S and the PC exclusive The Medium has been rated for the PlayStation 5. And also, Outworld Soulstorm was rated for the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. And this is particularly big because I thought those games were going to be somewhat exclusive to PC and their respective platforms, but it looks like that Soulstorm is coming to the Xbox One, so this game gets even more love. And the Medium is going to be sent over to the PlayStation 5, and I've heard pretty good reviews about that. So honestly, this is just good for the games, getting more, a bigger audience to work with, and so I think this is pretty good. It's also pretty funny that two games that were, I thought, supposed to be exclusive on their platforms are now suddenly jumping to the other side, too. So, hey, that's pretty interesting. Next up, let's talk about Battlefield 6, and it's going to supposedly be revealed officially on Wednesday, June the 9th. And that's the day before the Summer Games Fest, and that'll be before E3, so I guess this is another don't expect this at E3 type of deal. I mean, we'll see, honestly. I do think it's a little interesting, though, that they don't want to put this out at E3. Maybe this is like a, really big press conference and they don't have the time at E3, so hey. We'll see if Battlefield 6 lives up to the hype that people really want it to, and if it's better than Battlefield 5. We shall see. Now, I do want to talk about this lawsuit that was filed against Capcom, saying that they stole art from a photographer for Resident Evil and other games. So basically, Judy A. Jurasek is an author of a collection of her photographs called Surfaces. And basically, Capcom, either a developer or a team, ended up taking these photos from the Surfaces collection, first published in 1996, and basically used it without her permission. And this requires a license to use due to the fact that some of these places you had to gain special access to, or they're gone now, and places that are not open to the public. So essentially, what this lawsuit is alleging is that Capcom essentially took these photographs and used it without permission, either by contacting her or essentially giving, money for using these photos. And it is not even just for the Resident Evil 4 logo. There's also other pictures such as the window pane glass. There's also these designs on the doors. And basically, yeah, this is really damning if Capcom, truly did use all this. And from the looks, it does look like Capcom was using these photographs to essentially, help create the level design and, certain things within the game. And if you also remember from the title, it said, Resident Evil and other games. So I'm kind of interested to see what other games they used the photos for. I'm assuming Devil May Cry, if anything, due to the fact that that has a lot of, angel, devil imagery, and so probably DMC4, if anything, maybe DMC3. Though I am kind of interested to see what exactly Capcom's going to do. Are they going to say, yeah, we messed up and we'll pay you for it? And, that's not good, but at least it isn't them trying to say, oh, we didn't do this. We didn't, steal from your photographs. So honestly, we'll see what Capcom does in the situation. I do hope, though, that, justice is served and that either Capcom pays for what they did or this was just a huge misunderstanding, but from the looks of it, Capcom, kind of screwed up. So obviously, this lawsuit will proceed, and we'll talk about this more later if there are any, big news. If they just kind of give them money, and pay restitution, then I mean, what's there more to talk about? But I'll talk about more of this in the future. And now, this will be the final section about games that I want to talk about before I get into what I'm looking forward into the future for. Basically, Zelda's most dedicated fan game developers built an engine anyone can use, and I mean, this is just pretty good for, people that are trying to just get into game making, Sure, it isn't them, people programming each individual thing in the game, but at least it does help people understand, making a game and understanding the process behind it. And if they do want to pursue it further, they at least know and understand the basis of creating a video game. So I think this engine basically is a very good thing, but I'm not sure if Nintendo likes it. Because you know how Nintendo is with fan games, constantly taking them down. So, while I do think this is a good idea, I'm just not sure if Nintendo's going to take it well. And if they do, hey, that's great. More people will get to make games, either fan games and or, do things for personal testing. And if Nintendo take it down, well, I mean, just, I guess take assets from the Unity store and make your own game. I just, I really do hope that Nintendo, lets this continue, or they work or pair up with these developers and say, hey, let's make a, Mario Maker style game in the vein of Zelda. So, I do hope Nintendo becomes more open to fan games and or like fan creations, but knowing their track record, probably not. But, let's hope it for the future that Nintendo does allow these things to exist. So, on to some personal things that I am looking forward to and definitely will be streaming in the future. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So it's going to be coming out June the 11th, and I am very hyped. As someone who played Rack 3, I've kind of been waiting for another full game, a full Ratchet and Clank game. And then I honestly should get onto the PlayStation 3 games, but I don't want to pay money for that. But I should support developers. Also wish that they would release all the Ratchet and Clank games into one package and or, into like their generation gaps, into the generation tier. So like all the PlayStation 2 games, all the PlayStation 3 games, especially since that now, the PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 aren't very much supported for obvious reasons. And there wasn't much for the PlayStation 4 era. I kind of hope that they'll soon release a anthology of all the Ratchet and Clank games. Just an idea. But so, on the 11th, I will be streaming this game and basically giving you my impressions on it. I'll probably do a review. I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do those reviews, but, it'll be something worth trying on this channel. Oh, and also, there's a few other things that I'll be streaming within this week. So, that'll be the end of this gaming news week, and basically, there's a lot to be excited for in the future. So particularly with the Summer Games Fest Thursday and E3 from Saturday until next Tuesday, we've got some very interesting news that could be coming out. Now, will there be anything big announced? Maybe. Starfield might get more, gameplay. Elden Ring might come out with more news, but I'm not entirely sure, and I'm not sure if they will. We'll see, though, obviously. And, yeah. So this week, particularly, there's going to be a lot of streaming to be done. Thursday, the Summer Games Fest. Friday, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. And then Saturday until next Tuesday, assuming that I wake up for the live streams, I will definitely be live streaming those and my reactions. So, yeah, hopefully there's a lot of interesting news that comes out, and hopefully I'll have a lot of content to provide. So, I'll see y'all then. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe, and take care. See y'all next week.